What's happening, guys and gals? Welcome back to my channel again. Today we are going to discuss the anabolic family tree of steroids and of course the steroid genesis pathway naturally. So before the beginning, I have to tell you that the idea of, as far as I know, the idea of anabolic family tree actually came from Dan Duchaine, the legendary steroid guru. But the the form the, the form we see nowadays of the family tree actually designed or perfected by the Broderick Chavez. So before the beginning, we all gotta pay respect to that guy. Okay, so let's begin. Not waste your precious time. So, as you see, there are actually multiple hormones that look like pretty much like your testosterone or estrogen, including the cholecalciferol, which is your vitamin D3, which is actually a hormone, literally. We have cortisol, we have aldosterone, your sodium retaining hormone, of course, testosterone, progesterone, and estradiol. These are all naturally come from cholesterol. Those all hormones have cholesterol backbone, as you can see. So hormones that have cholesterol backbone can have very different interactions with variety of receptors. So a tiny bit change in the molecular structure can make a drug bind to a completely different receptor, like progesterone receptor instead of the androgen receptor. So basically, our anabolic family tree is this, your mostly with the so-called old school androgens. So our testosterone is the mother of the all anabolic family tree, and the DHT and the 19-testosterone families are originated from the testosterone itself. As you know, DHT is the 5-alpha reduced form of the testosterone, and the 19-testosterone is the testosterone without the carbon on the 19th position. So, in testosterone family, we have boldenone and dianabol, which is the 17-alpha alkylated version of the boldenone. We have halotestin and turinabol, which used to be very famous among the East German athletes. It was a doping program. It was used in the doping program. And we have DHT family. Like we have drugs like primobolan, we have stanozolol, we have drostanolone, which is masteron. We have oxymetholone. We have oxandrolone, also known as Anwar. We have dihydroboldenone, the 5-alpha reduced version of the drug called boldenone, which belongs to the testosterone group. Also, we have superdrol, like 5-alpha, We have superdrol, also known as methyldrostanolone, like 17-alpha alkylated methyl version of the drug drostanolone. And also, on the right column, we see the 19-testosterone group. And of course, 19-testosterone, Nandrolone itself belongs to that family too, because Nandrolone is a pretty anabolic androgen. And we have Trembolone, we have Trastanol, 17 alpha methyl 19-nortestosterone. Also, we have methyltrinolone, methylated trenbolone. It's not oral tren. It's orally slightly a variant of the drug trenbolone, which increases its bioavailability orally, but behaves completely different and a super toxic drug. And if you take a look at the names of the family groups, you can see that the testosterone itself is very anabolic also. 19-nortestosterone is very anabolic. But with DHT, unfortunately, we can't say the exact same thing because DHT's anabolic activities are pretty much non-existent. I said pretty much there's slight tiny bit, of course, advantages of DHT. There are certain interactions with androgen receptors. Of course, the skill acquisition part comes into play, but for myotropic effects, the DHT molecule itself is very ineffective. But it doesn't mean that DHT derivatives cannot be an effective myotropic agent. So if we look at that chart, I just dialed in arbitrary numbers to make you to understand it much better and to make it a bit easier, of course. Like we have DHT derivatives, we have testosterone derivatives, and we have 19-nortestosterone derivatives, also called Nandrolone derivatives. So all of those families, capabilities of muscle building capabilities, myotropic effects, not myotropic effects, my bad. Actually, protein accretion effects are pretty much the same, almost. But they also have difference. We all know that. If you take a look at the interactions with SHBG, 19-nortestosterone family has the least interaction with the SHBG, and testosterone derivative has the second place, and the first place, and DHT derivatives has the first place. DHT derivatives can drastically suppress your SHBG, especially with drugs like Nandrolone, for example. If you take a look at the peripheral tissue interactions, it can include anything from the different receptors, interaction with different receptors, and also like it can be interactions with your glycogen content, your cellular volumization, and your body weight, body weight gain, etc. There are multiple factors that have a role. The 19-nortestosterones actually have a bit more, I would say, tiny bit more peripheral tissue interaction than testosterone itself. 19-testosterone family, you can mostly think in injectable drugs, mostly like least hepatotoxic drugs amongst the androgens. 19-nortestosterone derivatives can increase your glycogen content and cellular volumization more than the testosterone family, and the DHT derivative family increases the least amount of glycogen content, your cellular volumization. They add the least lean body mass. But if you take a look at the neurology, we can see that DHT derivatives, neurology is where the DHT derivatives really shine, because DHT derivatives actually improve your neurology. So your skill acquisition actually improves. And with your testosterone family, It's somewhere between the 19-nortestosterone and DHT family, but with 19-nortestosterone family, they increase the neurology the least on average. Of course, there are drugs that improve the neurology more or less. It depends on what drug you take a look at. So, as I've said, DHT derivatives increase the lean body mass the least. Testosterone derivatives has the second place for lean body mass increases. And nandrolone derivatives increase lean body mass the most. As I've said previously, keep in mind that all school androgens have about the same myotropic effects, roughly. After you stop taking the body weight, the lean body mass gain you see are about the same actually. As I said previously, again, DHT derivatives are generally good for your skill acquisition. And Masteron really shines among the injectables. And on the, you can call it as a side effect, but it's well known that high dose masteron cycles, you can tear your quads, your pecs, and your biceps a bit easier than the other drugs because of that particular reason. Because your skill acquisition is sky high, and you can easily progressively overload, especially when you're cutting. You can tear your shit up quite easily, actually. While Masteron shares the skill acquisition properties with the DHT molecule, it does not share the androgenicity, especially in contrast to what most people think, like Masteron is super androgenic, but actually Masteron is less androgenic than the DHT itself. Also, while DHT almost does not build muscle by itself, the derivatives like Masteron and Primobolan have much higher myotropic effects. So, if we classify the androgens classify it very simply, even for a fourth grader to understand, we can classify them like that. Testosterone derivatives tend to increase the red blood cell count the most. They have more hematopoietic action. DHTs tend to increase red blood cells the least. And nandrolones tend to have the second place. But beware that some androgens that, there's terrible typo, I know. Some androgens do not fit to general family stereotypes, like halotestin. It's a DHT derivative. It changes your skin texture, makes your skin look tighter and harder, like really masculine look that separates on bodybuilding stage the difference between the males and females, how they look. The real tiny bit, like last 5 to 10% of skin texture can be changed with halotestin. But it's a testosterone derivative. Probably the first thing comes to your mind that, okay, we know that it works, but it's a testosterone derivative. So there have to be at least some part of estrogenic side effect. But we don't see it with it. We have oxymethylone. It almost acts like a nandrolone derivative. You can pretty much develop gynecomastia, via the prolactin progesterone complex. So you can actually, some people start actually lactating or developing gynecomastia because of oxymethylone, because it pretty much acts like an nandrolone derivative. The nandrolone, it acts like a nandrolone itself. And we have primobolan, probably as the least lean body mass you can think of, but it probably increases the RBC count highest among the injectable drugs per the lean body mass you gain. So it probably has the highest RBC to lean body mass gained ratio. It probably has the highest ratio. So we have superdrol, like also sometimes called as the anadrol's cousin, but structurally it is not even closely related to anadrol. It's actually a derivative of drostanolone, your masteron. The 17-alpha alkylation changes drugs behaviors completely, and 17-alpha alkylations in general tends to increase the glycogen retention, and it's also seen with the superdrol too. It's super notorious for retaining increasing your glycogen content. So, as I've said, masteron is not a DHT. That idea, that silly idea, is almost exactly same as saying halotestin is test or trenbolone is 19-nortestosterone. Trenbolone and nandrolone are exactly the same. And the answer is no, they are not. They share some properties, but not every property. So, boldenone and dianabol are also a very structurally similar drug. Like, you may have heard that some people call dianabol an oral boldenone, and actually it is unfortunately not, because it drastically changes how a drug works again. So you gain probably you gain much less lean body mass with dianabol compared to testosterone, but when you change the structure of the molecule and by adding a 17 alpha alkyl group, and this time it's a methyl CH3 group, you pretty much became a water hippo, literally. You can gain so much water weight that you can have cankles, like your ankles literally become as thick as your calves. So next time, if you ever hear someone saying that those molecules are the same, you can punch them in the face. Just kidding. But that's it, guys. Now you know the difference between the major differences between the androgen molecules, and you can distinguish the molecules itself, and you can use the androgens on your advantage. So as always, thank you guys and gals for watching. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. And till next time, have a great day. Thank you for watching again.